Hey folks, welcome to another Irish whiskey review with me, Marty McCauley. I hope you're all in good, fine fettle this evening. It's a bit windy down here. The weather's not great. It was beautiful at one time. Then it went really wet and windy and cold. Then it went back to being nice. So it's one of those days, four season day. It was just a smorgasbord of weather today. It was nice in one way and not so nice in another. So trust you're all safe and well and getting on with life, uh, going and getting your shots and so on. Now I'm a bit excited about this tonight, if I'm honest, because as you all know, I live down in the Glens of Antrim, and my local distillery is Bushmills. Now, the eagle-eyed of you'll notice that the cap's not off this. The cap's not off this because I got a bottle share. A friend of mine had a bottle of this, and they put some of this in a little bottle and gave it to me. I thought I would review it because it's the same as this, and I have a bottle of it. So depending on how this is, and we'll keep an eye on the auctions to see how they go. Because since these have come out, auction prices and stuff, it's just went crazy. They've all started go. The bottles of these have been sent to the four corners of the world, and people getting their hands on them, bring them back, and are now listing them in auction to try and make themselves some money and so on and so forth, and flipping them and getting on, which kind of irks a lot of people, and people get a bit annoyed about it, and rightly so, in many ways. But then I don't know whether the guy selling that it's his only source of income, or I don't know whether it's his mortgage paid that week, or I don't know, So it's not something that in an ideal world should happen, but it does, and there's nothing we can do about it. And if it's a free market, so if people can get their hands on them, bring them over and sell them, fair enough. This was released in Germany, so Bushmills released each of these editions to different areas. This one went to Germany, and it's a 10-year-old cognac finished Oloroso Sherry Bourbon before finishing in cognac cask, results that this single malt of deep and rich dried fruits character, along with hints of pear, almond, and warming vanilla spice. Now, this has caused lots and lots of people to smile, the Causeway collection, because I think they finally figured out this is what people really want. But everybody knows Bushmills has fabulous stuff. Everybody is well aware that of what they can do, but they've kind of been firing a bit off centre for the last while, and then this has dropped, and it's caused all manner of ructions for people. And good. I like supporting Bushmills. It's my local distillery. So it is. They have a proud history. They've got a real distinction to them. They have that a certain character spirit that they've stuck with through thick and thin. That biscuity triple distilled single malt. They've gambled on sticking with what they do and staying with it, and not heading towards maybe pot stills and stuff at the minute. I don't know. Maybe they will try that. I sincerely doubt it, but they might. And if they do, good on them. But sticking to what you're good at is never a bad thing. So, as I said, bourbon, Oloroso Sherry, and then finished in the cognac. So this is a limited release. It's limited to 5,280 bottles, which is not that limited. But when you see some of the other very limited, very rares, and they're releasing 5, 6, 7 times the amount of these, and people go, "Oh, crazy, crazy, crazy" for them. Yeah. Anyway, on the nose, very fresh, pear, a little bit of that Bushmills signature biscuity note. Just all bags of fruit, really fresh fruit, like a fruit salad, really. Little touch of syrup in it. and a little hint of white pepper there too. Yeah, it's a strange nose if I'm honest, but that's not the worst thing in the world. That it's it's quite a complex nose for something that's not that aged. I mean, it's only 10 years old, but it's got a nose on it that's very fresh, but a little spicy to it too. Yeah, yeah. Just again, nice clean nose with that fresh fruit and the biscuits. A little bit of pepper, which doesn't necessarily sound as if that should go together, but it works. This is working really well. Fresh fruit moving over a little bit the jam. The more you nose it. Hmm. Very clean, fresh, very nice, very nice. Yeah, yeah. 46% non-chill filtered, no colouring. That colour, I wouldn't think there's no colour in that. Um, Rich dried fruit, pear, almond, warming vanilla spice. We'll get to that in a little thing. Spicy wood, cinnamon, blah blah blah. Well, that's what they tell you. We'll be the judge of that. No, Helen Mulholland don't get their signature on it, so that's good. I like the fact they're giving you some little bit more information on it, when it was bottled, etc., etc. This is kind of the thing. There's people get to buy in a little bit more in the story of Bushmills. That's something that's been lacking with them for a while, if I'm honest. Hmm. There's a little chili kick at the start of it, just on the delivery. Actually, proper chili kick. That again, bags of fresh fruit. If I'm honest, the mouthfeel of it's not as good as I think it could be. The mouthfeel's a little watery. Yeah, a little bit of punch to that. The cognac, yeah, it's very warming, very warming. A slightly deeper fruit note. It's coming in there, heading towards more of the jam, a little bit less of the fresh fruit. There is vanilla there, absolutely, coming through, but there is that cognac note, obviously, but it's delivering that grape, that wine. Pro, it's processed wine essentially, processed grape, I should say. So it's not the fresh fruit. It's moved from the fresh on the nose through to more processed, more cooked fruit. I want to say it's jam, but it's not. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's dried fruit. It's more like cooked fruit. Like stuff you would put into an apple turnover or something along those lines. Not necessarily dry. There's a fresh quality that's still there. Slightly acidic. Got a slight acidity to it, which probably the slight acidity probably hits into that chili kick a little bit too, a little bit more. So it's delivering a bit more on that. 46%. So on the finish, it's got a really nice chocolate note, and not a dark chocolate, a very milk chocolate. Wow. Wow. There's piles of oil there, which is surprising because it's not. it doesn't feel on the mouth that it's got that rich oiliness, but when you put the water in, it, it takes a long time to dissipate. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's it's quieting down the freshness of it and moved it a little bit further towards that cooked note, cooked processed fruit. The pear's gone, and probably a bit more vanilla coming through. There's fresh wood coming through there, which wasn't there before. Yeah, the water's changed that really quite a lot, and probably not for the better, if I'm honest. It's I think it maybe needs a bit of time with the water, to be honest, for the water to actually get in and do a bit of work with it. Uh, when you drop the water into it, you can the oil it just it's like you know chromatography where things in chemistry it separates away out. It's you see it happening in front of your eyes. It's doing that in front of your eyes, and when it's doing that, it's probably going to take a bit of time for it to pull all that back together into a deliverable product in your glass. You know. Finish. Still, still a fiery kick to that. Uh, Chili. A bit of currants coming in there. Again, slight acidity there. Vanilla. Wood starting to come through an awful lot more. And a chocolate. Like chocolate buttons actually. That's what it reminds me of. Chocolate buttons. Sort of milk chocolate. Um, this is very drinkable. Very drinkable. You can actually turn this into a sort of everyday sipper, if I'm honest. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's got a huge amount of complexity. It's good. It's good, but it's probably not punching with the big guys in that area, which is not surprising really. But in terms of for what it is, it's lots of these will never be opened. That's the truth. It's called the collection because it's a collection. Lots of people will quite happily, proudly display that they've collected them all. Good on them. But that's all they'll ever do with them. They won't open them because they know that they're investment. They know that they're there primarily as decorations. And good on them. They spent their money. They can do whatever they like with it. Absolutely, good on them. But for people who are going to open this, it's one you probably won't be disappointed because it's not that expensive. If you don't buy it at the auctions, if you've managed to get yourself the hold of a bottle of it, you won't be disappointed. Very drinkable. But that's why I'm not going to give it a price. Because I couldn't go down the shop and buy this. I had to get it through sort of back channels to get it, and get a courier, then to send it over, and blah blah blah, all that jazz, and Brexit and all that. So, what level do you put it in? Is it level 1 entry level? Is it level 2 a bit further up? Level 3? Well, for me, it's obviously going to have to be at least level 2 because it's above the sort of £30 entry level, and heading north of that. So a score is probably not going to get a massive score from me. I quite like it, but it's not rich enough. It's not carried along as well as it could be. So if yeah, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10 because of where it's at, the value for money, the effort you have to go to get it, and it's just not delivering really enough. So it's a 5.5 at the upper end of level 2, because I say I can't. It's hard to put it in a level because it didn't cost a huge amount of money, but it's a little bit more of a little bit more than really an everyday drinker, but it's kind of an everyday drinker level in taste. So we'll give it 5.5, 5.5 out of 10. If you've got a bottle, do open these up. There's plenty of them, and enjoy. I would actually say this is a little bit more of a summery whiskey than it is just at the current moment in time. Doesn't It's spicy without warming. It's probably a good way of putting it. So get it and enjoy. So take care, folks, and I will hopefully see you again soon.